Okay, shift solenoid C. So I've got an ECT light flashing, and then it's gone off and it's come back on again, and now it just stays on all the time. You've had a code reader done and it comes up with shift solenoid C as a fault. Get under the car, take the pan off the transmission, take the filter out of the transmission, and take shift solenoid C out, which is highlighted here. The shift solenoid C has a black end, the other has a silver, so it's the second one in. Once you've got the solenoid out, you're going to pry around the edge and take the cap off. There'll be a thin washer, then a thicker washer, and then a plastic washer. I don't have the plastic one, I lost it, but you would want to take that off. The reason why these solenoids fail is because there's of this here, the plug. You don't want to pull the plug off like I have it. This one's just fallen off because they do fall off. So follow the wire around and you'll see that it attaches down there. What you'll need to do is you'll need to resolder that on there. It's from pushing and pulling on it from the plug. They just break really easily, or the heat just desolders it, breaks the solder connection. First, before you do that, take the solenoid apart by taking out the center. There's 3 parts in there. There's a spring, which looks like I've lost. The spring sits inside here, and pivots on top of that there. So get some WD-40 or some mass airflow sensor cleaner, clean all the gunk out of the inside, clean these parts here, and then reassemble them. In case you forget, the needle part goes in first, then the spring goes in there, and drop the 2 together. Then reassembles the solenoid. So you'll have the plastic washer, then the thicker one, and then the cap on top, which sits in the center like that. When you do resolder that connection in there, make sure you only put the tiniest amount on there, because otherwise you won't get it back together, and it can't touch, the solder cannot touch the side of the case because it'll earth it out. It's not easy to put back together. I used a vise and then slowly tapped around the edge, but it can be done. Just take some time with it. Once you've got it back together, test it on a battery or using a battery charger, a 12-volt one, earth out the side, and then power up your connector. You should be able to hear the solenoid work straight away, and it should work easily, and it should be very responsive. Then go put it back in the vehicle, plug it in, get back out and turn your ignition on, and make sure that your ECT light has now stopped flashing, and that'll confirm that the error has now been fixed. If it's still flashing, then you can try again. You can also test these with a multimeter to make sure it's got the correct voltage. You can find out what it is in the Lexus manual. I think it's got to be between 10 and 13, I'm not sure. But once the ECT light is not longer flashing, then you can put your trans back together and it should work sweet.